And now for the conclusion of Tardy for the Party.
The MC texts me, y'all. I can't stop laughing at this story. The MC texts me and says, I'm not coming. What? He says, I'm not coming because, y'all, listen, the makeup artist who was the MC's wife, because she was disrespected and not paid, he was standing beside his wife and said he was not coming and that he would refund the couple their money and good luck. Y'all, I promise y'all, I still got that text message. I will read it to you, but I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna put these people business out there like that. But yeah, he said he ain't coming. Sir, you supposed to be here at 7 o'clock. It's at this point probably like 6:10, something like that. You should be en route. And he's like, he's not coming. Good luck. I said, well, I'll be damned. Okay, y'all, yeah, craziness, right? But let me tell y'all this. We finally get the bride down the aisle. Y'all, why that ceremony take almost 2 hours? Why that ceremony take almost 2 hours, y'all? I can only imagine the people that had been there from 2:30 to 3:30 waiting for their ceremonies to start, from 3:30 to 4:30 waiting for the ceremony to start, from 4:30 to 5:30 waiting for the ceremony to start, from 5:30 to almost 6:30 waiting for the ceremony to start. They were famished and dehydrated. Y'all, that ceremony took almost 2 hours. I couldn't believe it. I literally couldn't believe it. I was blown away. It was like when the ceremony was over and the doors opened, people came running out of the room trying to grab hors d'oeuvres and head to the bar because they were just that messed up. I don't know what happened because we had closed the doors off for the ceremony for privacy purposes. Yeah, I don't know what they did in there for almost 2 hours, but they did something. Them people was ready to go. Yeah, And guess what, y'all? This story still ain't over. So ceremony is over and it's time to have the cocktail hour, and everything seemed to go well with that. I will say that the caterer was bombarded initially with guests wanting hors d'oeuvres and beverages, but they handled it very professionally, so I did appreciate that. And now it's time to move the guests outside of this cocktail space and up the ramp and onto the elevator so that they could get to the upper level for the reception. Remember, y'all? Remember we had those table symbols. Yeah, remember those? The table symbols that guests were just supposed to miraculously know that this was number table 1, table 2, etc., etc. That seating was the worst seating arrangement I have ever done in 25 years. When I tell you, people had no clue, especially if you were not of this particular ethnicity. They had no clue what these symbols meant. They thought the table numbers were cute, but they had no clue where table 1 was located versus table 12, etc., etc. And to top it off, y'all, the floor plan didn't even make sense. Table 1 was over here, table 2 was over there, table 3 here, table 9 back there. It was a hot ass mess, y'all. I was so irritated. And anybody who knows me, anybody who works with DE team, y'all know I do not like to do guest seating. I will hide in a closet before I do guest seating. But because there were 3 of us and we needed to make sure that this moved as quickly and as swiftly as possible, I had to all hands on deck. Okay, I had to do whatever I had to do. This was the worst situation I had ever come encountered with. People were mad. People were irritated. We were trying to get them to their tables. Then when they all sat down, they're bringing other people to the table that aren't supposed to be there. So now we got to go around and ask, can you show us your card? And whoever's not here, you're supposed to be at that table. We're moving people around. It is a mess. It is an absolute mess that took almost 30 minutes. Now, mind you, our ceremony is an hour late, okay? Because it was supposed to start at 5:30. It really didn't get going till almost 6:30. Then we have a 2-hour ceremony that didn't really conclude until after 8 o'clock, okay? It was almost 2 hours. After 8 o'clock, it didn't conclude. We got an hour of cocktails, and now we got these guests up here that we are trying to maneuver around to get to the seating. Y'all, the reception damn near didn't start till almost 10 o'clock. Yeah, I'm telling the truth on this one. This reception was so late because of all of the issues that were thrown at us that we were not aware of. And the attitudes that we were getting from the couple, it was atrocious. I was embarrassed beyond belief. We finally can get started with the reception. We don't have an MC. The DJ looking at me like, what am I supposed to do? Thank God I had a script. I was like, can you read? He was like, yeah. I said, read this and make it happen, because I can't be over here because we got a situation at a guest table. Y'all, one of the guests, who was the uncle of the bride, was ready to tackle my coordinator. When I tell you, I'll never forget, I was over at the DJ table, all right, kind of helping him do what he needed to do to make sure that he could MC now that we don't have one. And I'm moving around the space trying to make sure parents are good and that they're where they need to be. And I look over by the door and I see this man up in my coordinator's face. I mean, they like this. They so close. He probably was spitting in her face. I hate to say it. He was so close, going off on her, being belligerent, disrespectful to her, because he was not supposed to sit at that table. Why isn't he at another table, which was somewhere where his family was? I was like, sir, what is the problem? And get out her face. Okay, let's start there. Let's calm down. Let's have a conversation. I don't know why you were placed at this table. The couple placed you at this table. No, you're not with your family over there. I have no idea. But sir, if you want to eat dinner, I'm going to need you to sit down over there. He now in my face. Come on, y'all. Y'all know that's something I'm not going to tolerate. He's like, well, go get her mother. Not a problem, because I'm going to bust you in your face in a minute if you keep talking to me sideways. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Ooh, sorry, y'all. I had a flashback. What I said is, sir, I'm going to need you to move back, please. I'm going to need you to move back. I will go get her mother, which is something I had never done. Usually we can handle seating issues, and the guests are, they may have a little attitude about it, but they usually fall into line. This uncle was acting a complete fool, and I wasn't about to deal with it. And you're not going to talk to me, and you for sure are not going to talk to my coordinator sideways. I told my coordinator, go get her mama. Go get her mama. Go get her mama and let her deal with her brother. Because we are not. I don't have another seat at that table. I don't know what y'all are going to do, but guess what we're going to do? We're going to walk away. That's what we're going to do. We're going to walk away before we have to call the police up in here, because this is beginning to become the most ridiculous wedding reception I had ever been a part of. And I was just over it. I was up to here with the last several days of dealing with this couple. So we walk away. I don't know what happened. I walk as we move on with the reception and we move around the space. I did see the uncle over at the table that he wanted to be at. I don't know if they brought him a chair over there. I don't know what they did. Guess what? I didn't try to find out. It wasn't my concern, because had you spoken to us in a more respectful manner, we probably would have done just that very same thing. But because you talk to us sideways and you want to get all in our face, this is how you're going to be treated by the DE team. I will not tolerate disrespect. Y'all, when I tell you, this reception had to be one of the most challenging receptions I had ever dealt with, because it started so late, not because of our doing by any means. It started so late that we had to alter the timeline so much that a lot of the things that they wanted to do, like dance and party, they didn't have that. They had about, I want to say maybe 45 minutes of true dancing on the dance floor after they did all of the things that they wanted to do as a part of their reception. Yeah, I was figuring I was going to get some nasty message after this wedding, because so many things had gone wrong. It is what it is. One thing I will say is that they had the money dance, y'all, and there's this beautiful chandelier in the dome of this beautiful venue. Y'all, they were throwing the money so high because they had those guns that they were shooting the money in the air. It is money in that chandelier. Y'all, because I was treated so bad, I ain't gonna lie, I thought about going back up there and getting my gratuity up out of that chandelier. But no, that's just a little funny. I didn't do that. But I will say this. By the time the night concluded, I was simply worn out. The DE team, we were worn out. We had packed up everything that we possibly could, and we sat it by the door along with those 2 chairs from the ceremony, and we go and find the brother. I said, hey, This is all yours to take back with you tonight because you can't leave it here overnight. He was like, no, you all are supposed to take it back. No, that was never a part of our contract. We picked the items up and we brought them here. You and I don't know how many other people in this space are going to need to remove these items from the facility, or the venue manager has told me that they are going to go ahead and toss them. Oh, I said, and the biggest thing is make sure you get those chairs out of here because the rental company is coming to your mom's house tomorrow to pick them up since you all didn't want to pay for them to come back tonight. Yeah. Anyways. Yep, you're going to have to make sure those chairs get out of here because I don't have nothing to do with them. And come to find out, yeah, I did get an email after the wedding. And guess what? I ain't even care. I was just, I didn't even have anything to say. I didn't want to throw things back on them. When they sent their nice little dissertation that they wanted to send over to me, I just replied back, thank you so very much for your message. I appreciate you. And I hope you have a wonderful life. It probably didn't go exactly like that, but that's the gist of it. Anyways, I'll see you next time on The Wedding Tea.